Hi everyone, my name is Merve from Afro Congo Vlog. I'm back again with this new video. I really appreciate you tuning in. It really means a lot. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so when I release a video like this, you get notified. And also, please remember to share the video with a friend, family member, or a relative to get the word out there. Our goal this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers to get the channel monetized. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. I know we've gotten this far. It's thanks to every single one of you guys. So let me take this time to give a shout out to all of my new subscribers. You guys mean a lot. Thanks to you, we have been able to accomplish what we have accomplished so far. And welcome back to all of my existing subscribers. I know everything is possible with your support. So without further ado, let's get right into today's video. As you guys can see on the title, it says it all, but it is still important to discuss some of these issues. I've been trying to get this video out there for a long time, but due to my hectic schedule, I haven't been able to do so. Even this video is still considered an impromptu video, but I'm trying to do my best to come up with a more in-depth video where we will discuss all this issue very deeply to bring the awareness, because I get these questions a lot. And one of the reasons why I came up with this video is because of the emails, phone calls, and text messages that I have been receiving regarding this particular matter. So I have decided that I really wanted to focus on these issues just in case some of you out there are having the same questions. You could refer to this video and use this information in your advantage and work your way and move from there. Am I saying I'm the expert when it comes down to this? Absolutely not. I'm just learning along the way as some of you are learning from me or elsewhere. But it's important that we share the ideas that we all have in common, so we could make this whole farming community a better place, more specifically in the Congo. I, jot down a couple of notes to make sure that I keep track of my thoughts so I don't get lost in any part. But bear with me here because it's not going to be a really long video, but I'm going to try to, be more specific and hit the most important point of this video as much as possible to help you guys out understand and have the tools that you need. And hopefully by the end of this video, I will have some of your questions answered. So let's get right into it. Okay, first of all, we're starting with the process. Okay, what's the process of the land acquisition in the Congo? So there are two ways to acquire land in Kinshasa. Number one is through the chief of the village. And number two is from an individual who has acquired from a chief and they are just reselling their land. Okay, let's start with the chief of the village. So some of you may be tense because I get this answer. I get these questions a lot. Some people ask me, do they have the power to sell the lands to the people? Or maybe there has been a lot of scams in the past where there have been allegations where chiefs sell the land to more than 2 or 3 people. And yes, that has happened, but does it happen a lot? I don't think so, at least, from what I can remember. But you should know that you should know that the Constitution has given them the power to sell lands. Because if you go back to history, these chiefs have owned massive lands in the Congo, and they still do in different states, different provinces, in different part of the country. So they have the right to sell the lands to the people. But one thing that you have to know is that they have the constitutional power and rights to sell lands to the people. So I just had to put that out there to give some of you a peace of mind so you know and trust them even more that this power, it just didn't come from themselves. It's a constitutional power that they have to sell land, all right? After getting the piece of land through the chief of village or a private owner, um, the only piece of paperwork that you will be provided with, it's what we commonly call in French acte de vente. So basically, that's the only thing you will receive from them. But that piece of paperwork is really important because it shows that, so basically it's transferring the right of land ownership to another individual. So basically that piece of paperwork, it serves as a proof that you have spent your money and they have provided you with the essential paperwork that you need before you start any activity. And also, okay, let me focus on this one first. That piece of paper alone at the vente, it gives you the right to start any activity right away. Let me say that again. The first piece of paper you get after purchasing the land through a chief of village or a private owner, which is what we call commonly acte de vente, that piece of paper alone, it's enough for you to start any activity. However, we live in a world where anything can happen. Just to have a peace of mind, it's important to follow through the process and get all the paperwork that you need so that you can legally claim the ownership of that land because it belongs to you. That piece of paper is enough for you to actually start any activity as far as farming goes. But when it comes down to a moment, because there are times every year where like they send their agent for land inspections. So, and when that time comes around and they checking everybody's paperwork, and if you don't really have all your paperworks together, there are certain they're not going to take your land away from you, all right, but there are certain penalties that you will have to pay for not having all the essential paperwork. Receiving that piece of paper gives you the power to go through different local offices and start your process to acquire the rest of the paperwork. If I'm not mistaken, you will need two pieces of paperwork to have everything all together. Of course, you will have to pay certain fees to get it done. It takes a little while, but it's important. For instance, what I basically did when I purchased mine, the first piece of paperwork that they gave me was enough for me to start my activities, and I did. But while my activities was ongoing, what I did, I already had the paperwork put into the office and following the process. I paid the fees. I was just waiting to hear from them. I think the very first one is you have to go to one of the local offices, which they call uh, Bureau du Quartier. Once you go to Bureau du Quartier to get your paperwork from them, it actually adds another foundation to your paperwork, making it stronger. Okay, because at this point everything is being done under your name, making it impossible for any imposters out there who will want to just including the chief or whomever was the owner before you acquired the land, right? To actually go and sell it to somebody else. Because if they do sell it to another person and that person did not do the due diligence to investigate and know that if this land wasn't already sold to somebody else and they end up paying the money, and next thing you know, when they start their activity, one day you show up and be, hey, this is my land. And if they want to go back and forth, you go to the police station, you present them with your paperwork you just got from Bureau du Quartier. It gives you more legitimate rights to be on there. I mean, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this is the scenario that could happen. So to prevent that from happening, that's why I encourage people to start your process right away. As soon as you receive you purchase your land and they give you acte de vente, just go ahead and start your process right away. So after receiving that paperwork from Bureau du Quartier, maybe in the next video I will show you what it really looks like so you can have an idea. And from there, it gives you another step to take it to the commune. They will ask the paperwork you just got from Bureau du Quartier. That one shows that You previously had active accounts, and now you have the paperwork from them from Biodicati. Now they can receive you for the final step. Once you go over there, you put in your paperwork, they charge you a certain amount. And also another thing I was gonna forget, another thing that just came to my mind, um, the amount of the money you're going to spend as far as acquiring all this other paperwork depends on your how big your land is. It also, it depends on the size of your land. The bigger your land is, the more money you will spend. So just keep that in mind, all right? So once you get all of that done, ladies and gentlemen, you're legitimately the right owner of that land. Another thing I will also want to bring to your attention, this is I don't know if I would say this is an obligation, but every year, like towards the end of the year, around like December, right around like the holiday times, literally there's certain fees that you have to pay every year. It's like in a form of tax per se. It's really not a recognized governmental tax, but it is just, I don't know if it's tradition, or I can't really explain that, but it is a fee that I have been paying since I've acquired my land. I think it's like $20. Actually, there isn't really a fixed amount. You basically give them what you can, but like the past couple of years since I've acquired my land back in 2018, I've given $20 so far. That's how much I remember being able to give them. All right. So it's some type of recognition. I mean, I don't really have a word for it, but it's something that you should keep in mind. All right. So, and this is going to lead us to number three, which is the price of the land. Okay. This is another important question that I get asked a lot. A lot of people ask me, how much does the land cost? Well, there are variants to these questions. All right. The price of the land will vary from time to time, because we all know that at least in most places, the price of the land tend to increase every year. So back in 2018, when I got mine, it cost a little less than what it does today, um, just because of the necessity and how many people have bought over the course of over the course of the past couple of years. So that's also another factor that you should take into consideration. And again, that's one thing. And another thing is the location of the land. So the resources and the infrastructure can also determine the price of the land. What I mean about that is, you don't want to purchase a land in an area where it's almost impossible for a vehicle to even get there. That land will cost probably way less, but then you have to think of the way to get there. You have to be able to drive up there, or ride a motorcycle there, or whatever means of transportation reliable to you or available to you. You have to have infrastructures for that. The roads doesn't necessarily have to be built, because we all know the situation of our country, Democratic Republic of Congo. We don't have asphalt roads everywhere, all right? But the roads has to be at least practicable, making it possible for you to drive certain distance to get to your farm. That's also one of the factors that could determine the pricing or the price tag of um, of your land. That's one thing you should keep in mind. And number two is the resources around it. So by the resources, what I basically mean is that the availability of water. Okay, if you purchase your land near the river, the price will be much higher compared to the person who owns their land at a place where water isn't available. Like, for them to be able to operate properly, they either have to depend on rain, natural rain, or have to purchase water, or just bring water from one location to another to be able to conduct their farming activity. All right. For instance, where my farm is located, there isn't water available, but there is like different pilot wells that have been built adjacent to the area where my farm is located. Okay, there are places where you can go, dig water for free, but there are people that also have built their boreholes. That's actually my next move, to have the water available on the farm. So whenever I need it, it's right there. It don't matter if it's wet season or dry season, because usually around dry season, that's when like most producers don't really do well, because it doesn't rain much and during dry season. So if you having the water available just will make it possible for you to grow your plants or whatever products you have, including animals. So for instance, I do have pigs and and goats that I have, but I am paying certain fees to keep them where they are, because at this point the water is available in those areas and I have to pay a certain amount monthly to just keep them there. But in meantime, I am building on my farm and making sure I build a borehole, because these animals, they consume water. You have to have water available for them, all right? But where mine is located, the price isn't too high. The price isn't low, because I mean the roads are practicable from your starting point till you get to the farm. If you've watched my video, you've seen me ride, on a motorcycle to get through the farm. So it means that there's way to get there easily, as long as you have whatever means of transportation you deem appropriate for you, or you deem reliable to you, to move you from point A to point B, right? That's also important, because a lot of people tend to think that, oh, these lands are way cheaper or whatever. So like back in 2018 when I purchased mine, I believe 1 hectare cost $600. I'm pretty sure that that's how much I have spent. But now, in 2021, when I ask out of curiosity to just know how much the land costs right now, it varies between 800 to $1,000 per acre, per hectare. So there's like people are moving there. I mean, there are a lot of farming activities taking place in those areas. So like, every year there's going to be an increase. Who knows? Maybe in 2021, if you go ahead and want to purchase the land exact, like at least on the area where my land is located, it's from now on, people are going to start selling from $1,000 up, and it's only going to keep increasing. So that's another thing that you guys should keep in mind. And one more factor, or one more thing I would like to point out, is that if you were really sure you were trying to get into this, you have to be prepared, because there are a lot of challenges that comes with this, and it's a lot of responsibility. I mean, you really have to be mentally prepared, because there will be issues that you will run into that could probably discourage you from sticking to this path. But if you have patience, or if you're passionate about what you're willing to do, I think you'll be able to overcome these obstacles. But I'm going to talk about these obstacles on a separate videos, but I just wanted to put this out there to give you guys the information you need. But if you were asking me questions on how much do you need to start a farm, I mean, if you got any questions, just let me know in the comment section and I will address them accordingly. While I work on other videos, stay tuned and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and also don't forget to turn on that bell icon for notification. And until next one, I'll see you guys later.
Peace.